Hello everyone, this is our first top 5 gainers and top 5 losers analysis video for the month of August. So this is for August 1. So as usual, I'm going to talk about my technical analysis about these 10 stocks, and then I'm going to show you my interpretation of my trade and volume distribution and true market sentiment charts. And speaking of the true market sentiment charts, I'd like to mention to you that I have created a new post in our private clients forum under the psychology strategies and informational articles section entitled True Market Sentiment Explained. So this is a, let's call it a preview or a sneak preview for those who have not attended the Evergreen Strategy in Trading the Philippine Stock Market seminar, because maybe some of you still don't quite understand what the true market sentiment chart is for and how to interpret it the way it should be. Okay, so after talking about those two charts, I'm going to give you my overall sentiment, and of course followed by my recommendations. So let's begin with, oh, by the way, this video is for short-term trading purposes, even though you're going to hear some index companies in this discussion. And finally, if any of these 10 stocks begin at a price lower or higher than their dominant range, I highly recommend that you post a request for the stock's latest trade and volume distribution and true market sentiment charts in our private clients forum. Okay, so let's begin with the first stock in our list, and we have SM. So SM closed today at 1,000 pesos per share flat. Support is at 970. Resistance is at 1,016. Okay, so I also like the bullish alignment, the perfect bullish alignment of the three simple moving averages. And let's see, foreign investors registered a net foreign buying worth 36 million pesos. How about the 10 SMACD combo? The 10 SMACD combo is no longer valid. RSI is in the neutral level. The risk level of SM is still low. And I'm seeing a bearish convergence between the positive and the negative DMI. So it's getting more bearish. Now for the uh, let's take a look at the trade and volume distribution chart to identify if the momentum power indicator is still bullish or not anymore. So this is the dominant range of SM. It's between 999 all the way to 1000. But if you're going to consider the size of the trades on the left hand side of this chart, I would say that the dominant range is between 996 all the way to 1000. Okay, 996 to 1000. And then there's also a secondary dominant range, which is between 983 all the way to 987. Okay, but in this case, the dominant one is between 996 to 1,000 pesos per share. For the true market sentiment of SF, it's still at the neutral level. Okay, it's neutral. So again, regarding the true market sentiment chart, I'd like you to read what I wrote in that new post entitled True Market Sentiment Chart, or yeah, True Market Sentiment Chart Explained. It's under the psychology section in our private clients forum, this one here. Okay, so going back to the chart, let's go back to the chart. So my overall sentiment for SM, still this is a bullish one, even though we got a neutral sentiment on our true market sentiment chart. By the way, the momentum power indicator is it's no longer bullish because the last candlestick, yeah. But let me just double check this one. Closing price is 1,000. VWAP is at 991. So in volume bar, and okay, I stand corrected. The momentum power indicator remains bullish. I thought that a while back I thought that the last price was below the volume weighted average price, the VWAP, but it appeared, or it appears that the price is still above the VWAP. So we got a bullish momentum power indicator. So my overall sentiment in here, like what I've mentioned, it's still bullish. So if you still have SM because your trailing stop loss has not been hit yet, I suggest that you hold your position for now. Okay, hold your position for now. Don't top up yet. Better wait for the price to move above the 10 SMA to get a confirmed sustainable ascent of the price, probably all the way to the immediate resistance at 1016. Now, if you don't have a position in SM yet, I also don't suggest entering a new position yet. Number one, the last candlestick is already closer to the immediate resistance than the immediate support. Number two, the 10 SMACD combo is not yet valid. So at least wait for the 10 SMACD combo to be revalidated and for you to have an attractive reward to risk ratio. Ideally, a bigger potential reward than your potential risk. Okay, that's my advice for you on SM. Next, we got URC, another index company. It closed today at 164. Support is at 152.4. Resistance is at 177.3. Foreign investors registered a net foreign selling worth 39 million pesos. Our 10 SMACD combo is no longer valid. It's no longer valid. And still, the negative DMI is above. It's moving above the positive DMI. And I am not seeing any formation of a bullish convergence between the positive and the negative DMI. In short, URC must register another, maybe one or more green candlesticks for us to see a bearish formation of a bullish convergence between the positive and the negative DMI. I'd like to mention as well that RSI is in the neutral level and the risk level of URC remains low. Let's see if the momentum power indicator is bullish on URC. So the dominant range that I'm seeing here is between 163, it's between 163.8 to 165. And then there's a secondary dominant range which is between 157.8 to 159.3. Okay, but as far as the dominant range in relation to the closing price is concerned, I would say that it's closer to the intraday high, this one here, than the intraday low. Therefore, our momentum power indicator remains bullish for URC. So same advice that I've given for SM. If you still have URC for short-term trading purposes because your trailing stop loss has not been hit yet, I suggest that you can also top up. Okay, you can top up within the dominant range, but that is only if you consider yourself as an experienced trader. Because if you sincerely believe that you are not an experienced trader, I suggest that you just have to hold your position, but don't top up yet because the 10 SMACD combo is not yet valid. Now, if you don't have URC, but you're interested to trade the name, I also suggest that you wait for the 10 SMACD combo to be revalidated. Consider doing a test buy only if you consider yourself as an experienced trader, since anyway the momentum power indicator is bullish. Okay, so there you go. After URC, by the way, before we move to the next stock, I'd like to mention the true market sentiment for URC, which is bearish. So that's another thing that influenced my recommendation of you, just holding your position or doing a test buy or topping up only if you consider yourself as an experienced trader because of that bearish true market sentiment. Okay, moving on to the next stock, we got PXP. PXP closed today at 10.48. It broke above the previous resistance at 10.05, which is now acting as its immediate support. Resistance now, the new resistance is at 13.6. The 10 SMACD combo is valid. RSI, on the other hand, is closer to the classical overbought level. Risk level, on the other hand, is high. Now, the positive DMI is moving above the negative DMI, and the ADX is just about 2 points away before PXP will get a very strong upward momentum label or category. 2 points away, meaning to say perhaps once the price touches 10.65 to 10.70 and above, we will be getting an ADX score that's equal or if not higher than 25 points. When that happens, PXP will get a very strong upward momentum category or label. Foreign investors registered a net foreign buying worth 600,000 pesos. It's an insignificant amount relative to the participation of the foreign investors with the other index companies or with the index companies. Now let's take a look at the two remaining charts of PXP. The dominant range is between 10 to 10.6. Okay, so the momentum power indicator of PXP is bullish. The true market sentiment chart of PXP tells us that it got a neutral sentiment, probably because RSI is already approaching the classical overbought level. So in a way, the majority of the top 10 brokers are just trying to be careful with their action. They're trying to listen or watch the transaction of their fellow members of the top 10 in the top 10 list if they are significantly buying shares of PXP at a higher price. So they are just trying to eavesdrop with each other's stance or sentiment. Now, my overall sentiment on PXP for the short term is bullish. If you have it, you can top up within the dominant range. Same advice, if you don't have PXP but you're planning to enter a new position, first things first, calculate your reward to risk ratio. If you are satisfied with it, then you can do a test buy within the dominant range. Okay? Anyway, my overall sentiment is bullish and our momentum power indicator is also bullish for PXP. So after PXP, we got JGS, which closed today at 67.25. Okay? It closed today at 67.25. The major support that I'm seeing is at 56.20. Resistance is at 69.6. There is a perfect bullish alignment among the three simple moving averages of JGS. However, the last candlestick is still moving below the 10 SMA. Therefore, our 10 SMACD combo is invalid. Foreign investors registered a relatively huge net foreign buying worth 62 million pesos on JGS today. RSI is in the neutral level. The risk level of JGS is still low. Unfortunately, the negative DMI is still moving above the positive DMI. But let's see if we will be seeing a bullish convergence between the positive and the negative DMI, especially when the price continues to register green candlesticks. At least to end this week with a green candlestick and continue, or perhaps continue by the next week, by the coming week, so that we might see, when that happens, we might see the positive DMI crossing above the negative DMI finally. Okay, next, let's take a look at the trade and volume distribution chart with respect to the closing price of 67.25. I would say that the dominant range is between 67.15 all the way to 67.25. That's the dominant range. So the momentum power indicator for JGS is bullish. The true market sentiment for JGS is bearish, however. Okay, it's still bearish. Okay, let's see. So when the true market sentiment chart is bearish, it does not necessarily mean that the price should be red as well. No, again, the true market sentiment is our barometer, uh, or our indicator for us to know what the top 10 brokers are doing, what they are actually doing. Okay, so I already explained this one in that new thread that I posted in our private clients forum. So I suggest that you read that new post that I published before I started this video. Okay, so after GGS we got GSMI. So GSMI closed today at 67.75. It broke above the previous resistance at 63.70, which is now acting as its immediate support. For the resistance, I plotted an up Fibonacci for us to get a 61.8% extension of the up Fibonacci, which is aligned, which is somewhere in your 85.8. That's the resistance, 85.8 for GSMI. The 10 MACD combo, let me tell you that it's still bullish. Okay, it's still bullish. Foreign investors registered a net foreign buying worth 5.5 million pesos. But be warned that the RSI of GSMI is already close to the classical oversold or overbought level. The risk level of GSMI is moderate. The upward momentum is already very strong as defined by the DMI and the ADX on the DMI chart. The true market sentiment, or the dominant range for GSMI with respect to the closing price of 67.75 is between 67.5 all the way to 67.9. There's a secondary dominant range as well, which is between 65 to 66. Okay, nonetheless, the momentum power indicator, or MPI, is bullish. So with the MPI being bullish and our 10 SMACD combo being present, for me, the ascent in price is more likely to continue. But let's take a look at the stance or sentiment of the top 10 brokers. What do they say today? They are bearish. Okay, they are bearish today. Let's perhaps it could be because they are also trying to be risk averse or a little bit conservative, because RSI is approaching the classical overbought level already. So eyes on your trailing stop loss. Don't forget to do an upward adjustment every time the price moves at a price higher than the prevailing price. So after that, we got PHA. PHA closed today at 0.7. We are now talking about the top 5 losers. So it closed today at 0.7. Support is at 0.53. Resistance is at 0.78. The 10 SMAC, the combo is already invalid. The momentum power indicator is bearish. What else? Risk level is high already. RSI is close, moving closer to its classical oversold level. So we have to check if PHA will have to touch 0.53 before it rebounds, or maybe it will try to find a support near 0.6. Well, we don't know. We're just speculating. So let's just stay on the sidelines and monitor for our 10 SMACD combo to be revalidated, or at least for our momentum power indicator to become bullish. But for now, I don't suggest topping up. I don't suggest entering a new position in PHA. The dominant range is between 0.67 to 0.71. The true market sentiment of PHA is bearish. Okay, don't enter a new position, don't top up. Respect your trading stop loss once it's hit. Okay, follow next to PHA is IDC. It closed today at 6.74. Support is at 5.8. Resistance is at 7.6. The 10 SMACD combo is still valid. It's still valid. But the momentum power indicator is already bearish. The risk level of IDC is already high. Take note of that. I'd like to mention as well that the RSI of IDC is already playing inside the it already played inside the classical overbought level. That's why uh, profit taking was entertained when the price hit the 7.30 to 7.34 level. Okay, the upward momentum remains very strong, but nonetheless, the RSI is already downward sloping and profit taking already started when the price hit 7.30 to 7.34. So take note of that. The dominant range of IDC is closer to the intraday low than the intraday high. Therefore, indeed, the momentum power indicator is bearish. The dominant range is between 0.74 to 0 to 6.74 to 6.85. Okay, that's our dominant range. So again, the momentum power indicator is bearish because of that. The true market sentiment of IDC is neutral as well. So don't top up. Respect your trading stop loss once it gets hit. Don't enter a new position yet unless the momentum power indicator becomes bullish again. You have no problem with the 10 MACD combo because right now the last candlestick is still quite distant, quite far from moving below the 10 SMA, and MACD is still moving above the signal line. Okay? Again, don't enter a new position until the momentum power indicator becomes bullish. After IDC, we have 7-Eleven. So 7 closed today at 135 pesos per share. It broke below the support, the previous support at 139.65, which is now acting as its immediate resistance. The new support is now at 125.4. The 10 MACD combo has already been invalidated rather. MACD is moving below the signal line and the last candlestick is moving below the 10 SMA. Of course, the momentum power indicator is automatically bearish once we are already talking about the top 5 losers. RSI is downward sloping. Although it's still playing in the neutral level, it's already pointing toward the classical oversold area. The risk level of 7 is extremely high. It's all the more that you should avoid it for now. Okay, so the dominant range is between it's actually it's actually it looks like everything is a dominant range in 7 today, 135 to 159. The true market sentiment of 7 is neutral as well. So again, don't enter a new position on 7 yet. It's my overall sentiment for 7 is bearish. Next, we have MHC. MHC closed today at 0.69. Support is at 0.65. Resistance is at 0.83. The 10 MACD combo is no longer valid because the last candlestick is already trading below the 10 SMA, even though MACD is still moving above the signal line. RSI hit the classical overbought level last Wednesday. That's why profit taking happened when the price hit 0.77. Risk level is already high. Okay, although the upward momentum is by classical definition still bullish, but with this tall red candlestick and with the bearishness of our momentum power indicator, I'm not going to suggest that you should top up. If your trailing stop loss has not been hit yet, just hold your position. Better yet, preempt your trailing stop loss, lock in a few gains by selling a few tranches. But if you don't have it, then stay that way, don't buy it yet. The dominant range is between 0.69 to 0.76. Okay, did we check the right thing? MHC? 0.69 to 0.76. Now, the true market sentiment of MHC is neutral as well. Neutral. So lastly, we got Tech. Surtech. It closed today at 14.76. It broke below the previous support at 15.85, which is now acting as its immediate resistance. Support, the newest support, is at 9.86. Um, the three simple moving averages of tech are already aligned in a perfect bearish position. The 10 SMACD combo is already absent, invalid, because the last candlestick is still moving below the 10 SMA. And FYI, MACD registered a death cross below the signal line. RSI is already a few points away from entering the classical oversold level. So let's see if tech will rebound. We'll find a rebound zone um, between 14 to 14.5. Risk level of tech is already moderate. Okay, so the dominant range for tech is between 14.6 to 15.1. The true market sentiment of tech is bullish. Do I suggest that you should buy the dips? No, not yet. Like what I've mentioned, the momentum power indicator is still bearish, and the 10 SMACD combo, it remains invalid. At least wait for the momentum power indicator to become bullish before you consider doing a test buy. Okay, before you consider doing a test buy. But for now, just monitor tech. This is it's getting more interesting at this point. So if I were you, I would suggest that you add tech in your watch list as soon as we see those signs of reversals. What are those signs of reversals? Number one, the 10 SMACD combo is valid. Number two, the momentum power indicator is bullish, which consists of the four criteria that I used to call as 4-point criteria in the past. Okay, but for now, avoid tech. Just monitor it if you are interested to trade the issue once the momentum power indicator becomes bullish. Okay, so that's my technical analysis for these 10 stocks. Remember that you have to post a request for the stock's latest trade in volume distribution and true market sentiment charts in our private clients forum if you are interested to trade the name. For those of you who have not attended the Evergreen Strategy in Trading the Philippine Stock Market seminar, I'd like to emphasize, I can't emphasize it enough for the need for you to attend the seminar, because you will be able to take advantage to make use of our methodologies to your advantage once you've attended the seminar. For 6 hours, we're going to talk about the exact methodologies that I'm using, that I'm teaching you here in the forum, so that you will be able to uh, exercise the methods more independently right after the seminar. And that's the very reason why I automatically give you 50% discount for your ticket if you are subscribed for 1 year, because it's a prerequisite. It's a prerequisite. I don't suggest subscribing to this subscription service but not attending the seminar. You have to attend the seminar. Okay? Again, my name is JC De Guzman. And that's all for now. I do hope you will have a profitable and a disciplined trading day on Friday. For the Iloilo based traders and subscribers, I'll see you this coming Saturday. I'll be in Iloilo to conduct the Evergreen Strategy in Trading the Philippine Stock Market seminar. Okay, buy your ticket. You can still register. Registration is open until Friday. Thank you and have a great day.